Welcome to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Matt. Joined with me, as always, is my good friend Chris.
Matt, have you been paying attention to the Michigan Stallions guy, Connor Stallions guy?
The what?
Oh my God, I'm so happy and so sad that you do not know what this is. So, well, you probably do know. You know that Michigan's under investigation for the Spygate thing, right?
I know that part, yeah.
Okay, so there's this guy named Connor Stallions, and the more you read into this guy and the more you see what's happening, it's fucking incredibly amazing. It is one of my favorite sports scandals I have ever seen. This guy essentially has, on his own accord, like, maybe with the knowledge of Jim Harbaugh and other people in Michigan, I don't know, but he just decided, I am going to buy tickets to people's games, and I'm going to just sit in the audience, and I am going to steal the signs of these football teams, and I am just going to be on a cross-country journey doing that. I'm just going to do this everywhere and be so obvious about it. But that's just the little bit of the story. The best part of the story was the details that came out yesterday, when apparently, I'm guessing, I don't know when Michigan faced Central Michigan. I don't know if that was this year, last year, whenever that happened. But during the Central Michigan football game, there was a very suspicious guy standing on the Central Michigan sidelines, wearing sunglasses and a hat, and just kind of standing there, and no one knew who he was until this investigation, where it turned out it was Connor Stallions just on the Central Michigan sideline trying to get info for Michigan.
Normal situation all around.
It's like, I cannot wait for the fucking documentary on this stuff, because it is so funny. Like, just if you just look up his name and just look through the shit, it is so funny.
Which is, this whole thing is disappointing, because I am a Michigan fan, and they're who I've been rooting for out of, like, the teams that are consistently good.
Sure.
So this is sad, but also, like, I can enjoy the comedy of it.
Oh, 1000%. Yeah, like, I think even some Michigan fans are kind of taking it in. Like, there's just something about it that is just so absurd. Yep. And again, like, I don't care who knew what. The fact that this guy was just so bold as to pull this nonsense is so funny. It's just I am enjoying every moment of it.
And like using Michigan's, like, card too, right?
Yes, this
like
was
Michigan funds.
Yeah, this was all on Michigan. Yeah, that's the thing. It's just like he himself decided he's gonna do all this traveling and sign stealing using Michigan funding, but there's a chance that he just did that on his own and it was just no one else involved. But this all stemmed from, like, I think it was a game against Rutgers, I want to say, that there is some things that were kind of like, the head coach of Rutgers was kind of hinting at the idea, like, I think Michigan might be science stealing, but he didn't, like, come right out and say that. And then the investigation opened, and then this guy's name surfaced, and then everything's coming out about it, and it's very good.
Speaking of Rutgers, bowl eligible.
I know. Good for them. Good for them. You know,
how are you going to talk to your children about bowl eligible Rutgers?
We got bowl eligible Rutgers, and I know it's the second year in the row, but, like, we also have bowl eligible Kansas. Which, like, I separate the Kansas football team from the Kansas basketball team. The Kansas basketball team can suck a dick. That's shitty. Kansas football, kind of fun to root for. They're just a stupid little squad just doing their thing.
I remember one time where they had 20 yards of offense in the entire game.
Yeah, hey, much like the Raiders. Ayo! All right. Let's get to.
That's how we segue.
That's how we segue right there. Game of the week. All right, so yeah, let's talk about today's episode. So there's a lot that's happened. We are recording on a Wednesday because we were busy on Halloween night, but it's okay. Because it kind of worked out for us. We had massive breaking news that I woke up to this morning. Wait, what the fuck? And so we'll talk about that Speaking of the Raiders, and then we have a lot of trades just to kind of like sift through. We'll do our game recap, but it'll probably be abridged because we're also recording this late at night, so just bear with us. We're gonna do a quick segment on maybe some resurrections if we want to resurrect a team, and then we're gonna pick games for week number 9, and we're 1 week away from the mid-season special, so it's an important week if you want to be judged by us. Anyways, game of the week. There wasn't really like an amazing game this week. Maybe Eagles Washington is in that conversation, but Eagles kind of got away after a little while, and that ended up not being as interesting. So I just wrote Raiders at Lions so we could talk about the fact that Josh McDaniels got fired last night.
Hell yeah, he did. Man, imagine having 2 opportunities to be the head coach of a football team, and you squander them.
You don't make it to the end of your second season both times.
You don't make it to the end of your second season either time, and you stake your career on a poor roster, which you're partially responsible for. Yeah.
It's wild. I mean, I go ahead.
And I think we can fully say like the Brady success. It was not Belichick and McDaniels. It was Brady. I'm ready to admit.
I mean,
I don't think he does it without them, but
yeah, I mean, I am okay with saying that about McDaniels. Belichick, I'm like, Belichick had some great defenses, which like if Belichick deserves any credit, it would be the very first Super Bowl, because that was Tom Brady wasn't really like peak Tom Brady. He wasn't TB12. Right. So he just kind of was still like, oh, the 6th rounder that had a really nice story. That defense was really what kind of got that initial championship. But boy, then it really picked up from there. But no, yeah, McDaniels, I don't know. It is confound, like it's so dumbfounding, and I think I liked the idea of them taking a chance on him when they initially hired him, because I was just like, okay, maybe he just needed he just had a bad go of it in Denver, and then all right, let's see how he does with the Raiders. But it's just like, I don't know, every single time this guy got a chance to try to do this thing, he just blew it, and then that's not even to talk about the fact that he took the Colts job and then backed out of it, which was another wild story when that happened. I guess I'm not confused as to why he got fired. That's fine. Like that makes sense. He's definitely there's been enough incompetence that it's understandable. I'm a little surprised that the general manager got fired as well.
The team is a bad roster. But you know what, Chris? They came together. They made the perfect decision to try to rebuild their team immediately after the best possible opportunity and the last possible opportunity that they could have done that this year. So,
I mean, I guess so, but it's just like this regime was around for only a year and a half. Like, the general manager did not get really a lot of runway at all.
No.
To do anything, and it's just like, I don't know, wouldn't you have at least, I don't know, like, again, like, you don't know what's going on in there, and who knows, but wouldn't you have at least wanted to, like, give the general manager enough time to maybe get the roster in good shape, and then maybe bring in a head coach that would just be more qualified to be a head coach? I don't know. It's
I also did send you this, but the one of the also prevailing stories is related to Mark Davis, who is apparently a lover of PF Chains.
Sure.
Has daily meals there.
Mm-hmm.
And the Josh McDaniels firing was at 10 p.m. Vegas time, which is when PF Chains closes.
He was so angry eating his PF Chains and just being like, no, I gotta do it. And he just storms out of the restaurant right where they turned the sign from open to close. And it's just this dramatic scene of him giving the phone call to Josh McDaniels, you're out. I'm done with you. just I don't know. It is a joke. It's just such a joke of a situation. And I guess my bigger point about like why I'm like a little confused about it, like I don't know how you look at the Raiders and you're like, boy, I want to work for them right now. Like I just don't know how you feel like that you want to be in that situation right now, because there's just maybe Mark Davis is smart and it just saw the writing on the wall and it just decided, you know what, I'm blowing up this regime before it can get much traction. But
yeah, but I don't think Mark Davis is smart. Do you see how much money they're paying both Josh McDaniels and John Gruden should not work for them?
Right, that's the thing. Well, the Gruden thing was much different considering that was the allegations that came out against him. But it's just one of those things where you just look at the Raiders right now and you're like, I don't know what we do. Maybe could Mark Davis be trying to also spark the magic that was when they did get rid of John Gruden and then they made the playoffs that year and almost won that playoff game against the Bengals?
Yeah, and you know what they could have done is kept Rick Bisaccia.
Right, as the head coach, and instead let him go to the Packers instead. Yeah, I don't know. It's very weird. But Antonio Pierce is the interim head coach, which I thought was interesting as a Giants fan. Mm-hmm. He's been around for at least one of the Super Bowl runs, if not both. And so I don't know. I thought that was just interesting, but we'll see about these Raiders. They're also starting Aiden O'Connell this week.
Yep.
Because they're like, he's the best quarterback on the roster, which is like,
at least they like said it.
Yeah.
I respect it.
Yeah. It's just like, all right, like we're completely resetting, and we're gonna focus on Aiden O'Connell. So it's like, all right, fair enough. That's your game of the week, was just Josh McDaniels getting fired. Raiders at Lions. Lions are still a very good football team. I brought up blowout of the week was Rams at Cowboys. Not much to say here. It was a 23-point blowout, which is not much of a blowout anyway. It's just like all right, yeah, I got away from them. Chaos of the week was Chiefs at Broncos, which I'm annoyed because I'm like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Where I'm like, now you just have to pick the most chaotic situation. Every single week.
And I feel like it's it's so funny. Like Sunday morning, it was like, oh, by the way, Patrick Mahomes has the flu. So
yeah,
not at 100%, but I do think that like with this loss, it shows that the Chiefs are not unbeatable.
Yeah,
they're 6-2. They're probably still top 2, if not top 1 team in the league right now. But
yeah, I mean their defense is still very good. It's just the offense is.
But they are closer this season to go fuck yourself game of the week status than they ever have been before.
That's true. That's a fair point. We'll get to that actually.
We'll get to that soon.
Well, yeah. I was gonna say I feel like with the Chiefs, it's just kind of like this is it's gonna be. I always feel like this is something that they have done before, where it's just like, oh man, they're vulnerable, and then they just take off after a while, and I'm just kind of worried about that aspect of it. But hey, let's see. Hoping for the best. I actually did, Matt, slot in a go fuck yourself on this listing.
Good.
So I want to give you the floor because this is
all right. So we have 2 go fuck yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Where the season's really making up for lost time. We had like none, and then now we have a bunch. Starting off with the New York Jets versus the New York Giants, 13-10 in overtime. Extra fuck yourself. Jets made an impressive comeback. A lot of people talking about if they were even allowed to set the ball. The ref did touch it. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
But if that doesn't get set up, then it's a 10-7 glorious monstrosity.
Yeah. I think this is a game that will be remembered forever by both teams in a very poor way.
Yes, nobody's happy about it.
No one's happy about what transpired, but they're just kind of like they do like a solemn salute and then just go about their way.
Yep. The other go fuck yourself, Houston Texans versus the Carolina Panthers. The rookie quarterbacks, best friends face off. Mm-hmm. And Bryce Young did in fact get his first win as a Panther.
Yeah.
And Texans faltered definitely a little bit. Usually the Panthers defense makes opposing offenses look very good. That was not the case this time. So Panthers also surprisingly did not make any major trades, which you may have expected them to.
Yeah,
which was really surprising to me.
That's a good transition, Matt. Because we have quite a few.
A little
trades
lower
to talk
energy
about.
tonight because of the late and me not trying to be super loud.
But listen, you gotta just bear with us, all right? I just started a job today, all right? I'm gonna just be up front. I started a job today for the first time in a while, so I'm a little. My mind is a million miles away.
Yep.
Let's talk about the trades. Yeah, not the most exciting trade deadline. I think we've had more exciting ones in recent years, but it was exciting enough. I think you had enough movement where we're like, all right, that was. There's some intriguing things happening. I'm kind of going somewhat in order. I'm gonna start with Leonard Williams. Giants trading him to the Seahawks. Seahawks gave up, I believe, a second round pick for him. And I like it. I like the move for both teams. Yeah. I think Leonard Williams is a pretty decent player. He's not. I think considering his draft pedigree, I think he's kind of played under those expectations, but he's been a solid player when he was with the Jets and with the Giants. And I think him going to the Seahawks, I think it works out for him. I think it's going to work out for the Seahawks to help with that pass rush. And then for the Giants, you get that trade value. Like it's just, like I've lamented about how this season has gone for the Giants, and I think my lament is going to continue. But I'm if they can make smart roster decisions at some point, that could regain my trust, and this is a good start in that move in that direction, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's my team. But as for your team, Matt, you got a defensive.
Got Montez Sweat.
Yeah.
I really like this. A lot of people were saying like, oh, the Bears, and we could talk about Chase Young to San Francisco as well, and they were like, oh, the Bears paid a second, and the 49ers only paid a third. Shut up. There's no Chase Young is still pretty unproven.
Yeah, Montez Sweat
to start, he just has name value, and Sweat has been incredible. The second round will be worth it.
Yeah.
And it's like it's another argument of you will have him guaranteed, and they kept Jalen Johnson, which I think is huge. Signed them both. We have a lot of cap room next year. Sign them both to extensions, and I think this defense takes another step up next year.
Not that we would know this for sure, because this is a spot that I'm very dumb about. But do you know if the Bears have cap room? Like,
they have $110 million of cap room?
Okay, there you go. that sounds like a lot of money. So
that's a lot of cap room.
To be fair, though, with this league, it's like that you say that, and then you're like,
you can move it. You can move it around, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
Especially for like defensive players and stuff. Like they'll be fine.
I think that this is a good move. I think, by all accounts, Montez Sweat has not seemed like a bad locker room presence like Chase Claypool. Like, Chase Claypool, there was when he was with the Steelers, not like terrible reports, but just like, I don't think
all the TikTok stuff.
Yeah,
and that one thing about like he didn't set the ball to get he celebrated instead of just setting the ball.
Yeah, was that with the
Steelers?
Oh, I thought that was Juju Smith-Schuster, but I could be wrong.
I mean, Juju was also a TikTok guy.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. That's why I'm confusing. But anyways, yeah, no, there was things with Chase Claypool already, and then he got traded to the Bears, and then it just it was very obvious what was going on at that point. I was like, oh no, he's just not trying anymore in football games. I don't think you get that with Montez Sweat. I think it's worth the second round pick.
Not at all. Yeah,
I think. Because that is, to me, the value. What that draft pick is, a premium draft pick, especially considering you're probably picking high in that round. But you're getting a guy that has proven himself, and most of the time when you're drafting players, you don't have the proof. Like, you could pick a guy that has all the talent in the world, but it may not work out. Where you kind of already know that Montez Sweat is a decent player and will do well for them. So I like the trade. I thought it was a good move by them. But to your point with Chase Young, I think he's more unproven than Sweat.
And he's been injured for so long, so it's not like you haven't seen Chase Young be it's total name. I still think 49ers for them, fantastic.
Yeah,
Especially
absolutely.
on this losing streak, great trade. But I call bull on the idea that the Bears are stupid. They might be a little stupid. They haven't proven themselves to be not stupid yet, but not in this trade.
They did.
In particular,
They did fire their running back coach today.
Yeah, I think that
was interesting.
Some more other this coaching staff is not lasting this season.
Yeah, they're just kind of like slowly shedding them. Like next week, it's gonna be like a strength and conditioning coach. You're just like, all right, what? But like the Trace Young thing, like I think they gave up a third. And I thought that was fine. Like I think that the Washington side of this is interesting because I think it is wild that they did trade both of them. And I think I wonder if part of that is because of the new ownership, wanting to, like, considering this ownership, which is the guy who owns the Commanders now is the 76ers guy. And I wonder if in being inspired by how the 76ers got better. I mean, they never won a championship, but they got better than what they used to be. I wonder if he's just like, yeah, fuck them picks, or rather, fuck them players, and we're gonna bring in the picks instead, and we're just gonna rebuild for the future. Like, I wonder if he's just gonna go off of that model. It's moves like this that also make me think. I don't think Ron Rivera and that coaching staff is long for this world after the season, unfortunately. I think that's gonna be done and over with. I think my favorite trade that happened this week was Josh Dobbs to the Vikings. I thought that was interesting because we got the reports on Monday that was, hey, we're gonna start Clayton Tune, and it was just like, hey, what? Okay, like it came out of nowhere, but sure. And then of course Kyler Murray's in the wings. Like he's expected to play this year, which I at first did not think was gonna happen, but turns out that's coming around the corner, I guess. But so then they said Clayton Tune, and you're like, wait, what? And then now it makes more sense. They probably were having Josh Dobbs be trade bait for teams, and the Vikings bit because, which we haven't discussed yet. Kirk Cousins is out for the year. He tore his Achilles, the same injury that Rodgers had. The Vax Bros. The anti-vax bros together going down with Achilles. What a beautiful love story. But anyways, Dobbs is I think going to be a decent fit for them. Like considering
and it definitely better than their rookie. You had a lot of hope for their offense this year, and their offense was playing really well. They were coming on the up, but this is Josh's third team in a very short period of time, so. He's going to take a while to get like fully adjusted. I'll be curious to see, but especially with how the Lions played Monday night, it's going to be a long road for the Vikings to try to catch up with them still, I think.
I don't know if anyone's catching the Lions. As much as I don't want to get my hopes up because it's been like so long since the Lions won a division, but man, it would be a fun thing to see if they can pull it off, and this is as clear of a runway as they're going to have with the Vikings losing their starting quarterback, the Packers being a complete mess, and the Bears just not really existing at the same time. So it's the Lions' division to lose for sure. Some miscellaneous things here. Offensive guard Ezra Cleveland got traded to the Jaguars. Defensive lineman Katavius Street got traded to the Falcons. Wide receiver Donovan Peoples-Jones got traded to the Lions, which I thought was interesting because I know he was a very reliable receiver for them last year, I want to say. This year he was a bit more quiet, but I like the idea of him being with the Lions, who I think in general would like to see more wide receiver help. Yeah,
Jameson Williams still not quite living up to potential, but adding DPJ will help solidify their wide receivers a little bit.
The last trade announced was Rasul Douglas going to the Bills, which I thought was also an interesting trade. He had played pretty well for the Packers, and Bills.
Hey, Bills really need defense help, so I think it's a good trade,
especially in the secondary. They need, or at least with the corners, they definitely need that help. All right, so there you go. That's your trade deadline. Let's go ahead and let's return to the graveyard for a moment.
Alrighty.
We're gonna have this discussion here. So we buried 6 teams this year. And this is
which doesn't feel like a lot. How this year is gone.
Yeah, it does not feel like a lot. And maybe there's an argument to say that maybe we expend some more graves. We could, but
maybe a couple more.
Maybe just a wee bit, just as a treat.
Yeah. Bring it to maybe 8, like a quarter. We can there's definitely at least a quarter of teams that are out of it now.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. We could. I'm down to talk about that. We buried these 6 teams because we didn't think they were going to make the playoffs, and these teams, of course, are the Carolina Panthers, Chicago Bears, Denver Broncos, Las Vegas Raiders, New York Giants, New England Patriots. Now, I feel like, looking at that list, it's kind of hard to see. I would make an argument for one team. It may be surprising who I throw out there, but although maybe not. I think I would make the argument that the Carolina Panthers have a chance. Only because of the way that the South is trending.
They're 3 games back.
They're 3 games back, but
they're the worst team in the league, and they are 3 games back. That's what we're looking at.
I understand.
No, I'm saying that 3 is not that much, and I'm like a little bit agreeing.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. You look at what's there. The Falcons, they're turning to Taylor Heineke, and maybe that's going to be a good sign for them. I think it is. Maybe that turns things around for the Falcons, and they're in good shape. But they still have Arthur Smith coaching their team, and he certainly have not proven himself well.
No.
My projected coach of the year. The Saints. I mean, look, they have their ups and downs, but I am not looking at them as being like super consistent. The Buccaneers, I don't really see as being a consistent team. I feel like their offense keeps falling flatlining when they need them. Yeah. So I look at the Panthers.
I'm looking at the rest of their schedule. I think the Cowboys and Jaguars for sure are gonna kick their asses.
Sure.
The Titans, if Will Levis is him, yes. Other than that, I think it's all divisional opponents, and then the Bears and the Packers and the Colts.
There's a path.
There's a path.
So that's kind of why I feel like I'm okay with resurrecting them, because I think my biggest thing is I just want to guarantee that we have the absolute 3 worst NFC and 3 worst AFC teams, because that's what we have right now. But and the Panthers, yes, you can make the argument that they are that, but
if we dig up the Panthers, can we bury the Packers?
You know what, for you, Matt, I will do it,
because there's no shot for the Packers this year.
Yeah, it's turning bleak for them by the moment. I think that I think a lot of shit's been thrown at Love, but I think a lot of it's also their defense is just really bad.
It really is. They're not Love. I'm gonna grant Love the same grace that I grant Justin Fields, which is he's not put in a position to succeed right now. Yeah. Therefore, he is not succeeding.
Yeah. It is a lot of there's a lot going on trying to get that to work, but I think the biggest thing is the fact that their defense has really let them down. I think between the remaining 5, is there any of these teams that you would consider resurrecting?
I highly doubt it.
Yeah, because even the Patriots had that one little spark of interesting.
That was doused immediately.
Yeah, and then got doused immediately. I think if the Raiders didn't stink on Monday and then fire the head coach, that they would have been a really weird candidate, because they would have been they could have, if they beat the Lions miraculously, they would have been at 4-4, and it's kind of well then I don't know.
Yeah.
My only concern with the Raiders now is what if it's the head coach thing, the change in head coach thing, where it's they just start playing well because of the new head coach.
I do worry. They have not faced the Chiefs yet this year, so they need to face the Chiefs twice.
Right, and
they face the Dolphins.
Okay.
They face the Chargers.
Yeah, that's a rough schedule.
Yeah. Chiefs twice is the big one.
Yeah, and you're not gonna sway me on the Giants. You're not gonna sway me on the Broncos.
No. I
don't think you're.
I wouldn't try to.
On the Bears. No, more universal you. I'm not saying it specifically. So all right. So then I do think I
would sway you if Tyson Bagent played well Sunday night. I would try to sway you on the Bears, but
yeah, all right, that's fair.
I'm lying.
All right, I'm gonna throw some cash here out, and I'm buying 2 more plots of land.
Okay.
Let's bury 2 more. I do think this was a very started out on a very low roster, and I think we should bury 2 more. And I think the very easy decision here is to go with the team that has the worst record in the league right now, and that's the Arizona Cardinals.
How did we not bury them the first? Oh, they were actually good the first.
They were kind of frisky, and I think we're like, what if they actually were good? But it's been
no, we can put them in.
It has been all downhill kind of from there, and now especially since they're moving to Tune, it's just kind of like, yeah, this is. I don't know. Do we really expect Kyler Murray to come back and then like completely take over and turn that offense? I don't think that's going to happen. At least in the first year, in the first few weeks of him coming back from injury, like it's that's kind of would be miraculous. All right, so then looking at the list,
no one in the AFC North.
Yeah.
AFC North is off limits.
I would like an AFC team, just for symmetry purposes, but it doesn't have to be.
Okay, because so the AFC West is fucky because they're all 3-5. So is the AFC South minus the top 2 teams. It's so funny to see the AFC West and South records right now. Fucking look at them.
Yeah.
The top team has 6 wins, and then all the other 3 have 3 wins.
Yeah, that's kind of nutty.
Yeah, it's I would even be I would be a little bit bold and maybe even say I can't say the Chargers. As much as I want to be a piece of shit.
That would be yeah. I there's a part of me that wants to bury the Colts, only because of as much as I would love the Minshew-essence to be real.
Yeah,
and to be great. They've lost 3 straight now, and yeah, they got the Panthers next, and they got their schedule's not bad, but then they do have the Bengals later on. I don't know. It's not the worst schedule, but then you do have. I think the Titans are kind of interesting right now because we're in a honeymoon period after the fact that Will Levis looked as good as he did.
Yeah.
And then the Texans, I just still really have a lot of faith in Stroud. And I have faith in the Texans that they can come back from that loss. The Colts,
do you have
right now
any...
I'm saying I would love to stick with the AFC. We can fork another NFC team. I'm just kind of... Mm-hmm. I'm just... I mean,
in NFC, we could easily just throw the Rams in there. Stafford's going to be out for a few weeks. They're not going to make it. That's a very easy one we could just throw in.
Yeah. The only thing with that, though, is that this is a very bad NFC, which I know we've been saying quite a few years in a row.
Yeah.
But, right now, your 7th seed is the Vikings.
Right.
In the 7th seed... The 7th seed standings right now are, if I'm looking at it, hold on, Stupid. The 7th seed standings, the Vikings are the 7th seed, but behind them are the Saints, the Bucks, the Rams, Commanders, and so I'm just kind of it would make sense, but then when Matthew Stafford has been playing, he's been playing really well.
Yep.
Maybe it was about, you know what? Maybe I should get my money back. Maybe we should just have buried just the one team.
Just the one team. Just put the Cardinals in there.
Yeah.
Keep the Packers in.
Yeah.
Or we could just put the Panthers back in.
I know. We just went through the effort. I have the cross and I have the holy water. I went through all of the trouble to bring the resurrection back. I don't know if holy water would necessarily resurrect anything, but it's based off of nothing. That's what I'm using. Yeah, I don't know. I think if we want to play it safe, we don't bury anyone. If we do want to be risky. We didn't bury the Commanders yet.
Do you think that they stand any chance? Obviously not the division, so they'd have to get wild card. I don't think they're getting wild card.
I think them trading away their two best defensive linemen, or two of their best defensive linemen, Jonathan Allen's still there, but I think that's kind of the starting sign to me that you're not really wanting to win this year. Like I just feel like the ownership is at this point moving in a direction where they want to build for the future, not for now. And I don't think they really want to win a lot this year. And therefore, I feel like it would make sense to me to have the Commanders be the ones. Like, I think your 7th seed is going to be a battle between the Vikings, Saints, Bucks, and Rams.
That sounds about right.
Which that would have to be it. Because everyone else below the Commanders we have buried. Except for the Panthers, granted.
All right, put the Commanders in.
All right, let's do it. So there you go. All right, so our new 8 buried teams.
we're certain that Ron Rivera is not surviving the year either. So I mean, it's good.
The Arizona Cardinals, Chicago Bears, Denver Broncos, Green Bay Packers, Las Vegas Raiders, New England Patriots, New York Giants, Washington Commanders.
At least if the Bears are in there, the Packers are in there with me.
It's comfort. That's the comfort that you can get. It smells like cheese, but
I mean, I'm okay with that.
It's comfort.
Wisconsin cheese is good.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let us get into our picks. Matt, you and I rebounded very nicely from a brutal last week. Matt, you went 12-4. Got your chaos, got your guarantee. 9 points overall added to the score. I lost lost 3 of our 4 disagreements overall. So,
not bad though.
Yeah, I still went 10-6, and I got my chaos, I got my guarantee, and I got 5 points total. So we now turn. Oh, and then overall rankings right now, Matt's sitting at 71-51, 19 points. I'm sitting at 65-57, 7 points. All right. Matt, Titans and Steelers. Intriguing game.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett's expected to play, which is interesting. Well, because he did leave early in the last game, but he's going to be back, and now they're going up against a Titans team that's feeling very feisty after their win over the Falcons, and Will Levis looking very good in that game, but a much stiffer competition in terms of defense going up against the Steelers defense this year. What do you think is going to happen with this game?
I really liked what I saw from Will Levis. I thought he had a nice opener, and you can't bank on that going long term. But Matt Canada is where offensive happiness goes to die.
Yeah, typically.
That's a Matt watch that I want to see go away. I'm gonna pick the Titans here.
Yeah, I get it. I just feel like I would like to see it 2 times in a row from Will Levis before I'm fully sold on it. I am no believer in Matt Canada, but I am a believer in one TJ Watt, who has at least one massive play every single game. It feels like. Does it get them the win all the time? No, but they're still 4-3 despite all their offensive issues, and I think that the defense will win this one out for the Steelers. So pick the Steelers.
Cool. All right, Guten Tag. Miami Dolphins take on the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a big test, I think, for both teams to see if the Chiefs can rebound. See if Taylor Swift will halter touring to go help Travis Kelce have a good game, because that's all the graphic makers seem to care about.
I hate that.
The graphic of games with and without Taylor Swift.
I really hate it. I don't know why. There's just something about it.
I am currently the owner of a Travis Kelce shirt, so
there you go.
So I think this is a big test for both teams. Can the Chiefs rebound after their embarrassing loss? And can the Dolphins prove that they can compete with the big boys?
This is a good game. The Germans are eating good.
They are. I mean, they seem like they would usually eat good.
I
think
good.
That they
got some good pretzels, good wieners. I respect their diet. I this is obviously a tough game to pick. Because I think it could go either way. I'm someone that has always picked the Chiefs in these situations just because I feel like they've been the most reliable. That's not going to change today. I'm going to pick the Chiefs. There's just something about when a team gets their butt kicked. Butt kicked is maybe not the right term. I don't know.
They got their butt
kicked.
kicked.
They got their butt kicked. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's something about like when a really good team gets their butt kicked 1 week. I feel like no matter who the opponent is the following week, they just have some kind of rebound happen to them, and I just feel like that could happen in this game. And if anyone could figure out how to get through this game, it's going to be Andy Reid. So I'm going to pick the Chiefs, even if it's not it's the easy pick. I granted, but
yeah, I'm still going to pick the Dolphins.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, I like this matchup. I want to see them pull it out. And again, like this is their test. I think that if they can beat the Chiefs, they can make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
not saying they will make it, but they will have the ability to make it. This is their test, and they have been in Germany. They're early in Germany. I don't know if I haven't checked Kansas City, but early in the week, travel seems to be the best thing you can possibly do.
Yeah, I really do think that it's gonna be one of those things where this is a battle between two of the best AFC teams right now. The best record in the AFC is 6-2, and it's owned by both of these teams. So it's a battle. It's gonna be a big battle in neutral site essentially. Next up, the Minnesota Vikings at the Atlanta Falcons. Of course, Vikings are going to be without Kirk Cousins for the rest of the season. They're going to be rolling with Jaren Hall for this week with Josh Dobbs, I think, serving as a backup. Josh Dobbs will most likely take over unless Jaren Hall blows everyone's socks off. Falcons, meanwhile, were miserable in their game against Titans until Taylor Heineke got in. And it got maybe a little interesting, and maybe the good Heineke will be what raises this team up. What do you think is going to happen?
I don't know, Chris. This your toxic group think is really getting to me. About how Taylor Heineke should start. Ritter's been playing fine. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm picking the Falcons. I do think that the change to Heineke is going to be a net benefit for the offense. Heineke is a above average quarterback. He fills the Minshew role decently well. When he comes in to replace people, he's fantastic. He's a very Nick Foles type of player.
Yeah.
And I think that he will make the offense better. Arthur Smith will do everything he can to score 22 points. Exactly.
Yes.
But I still think they'll win the game.
Did you know
especially with Minnesota's faltering?
Yeah.
And injury.
Did you know that Arthur Smith's father is the FedEx CEO or the founder of FedEx?
Founder of FedEx.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw that as like an explanation to like, oh, that it really does make sense that he is playing like he doesn't need to lose his job. Or like it's not a problem if he loses his job.
Yeah. He's gonna be nice and cushy.
Do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, I'm Team Chaosing the Vikings.
Good.
I
like it.
I mean, look, I get what you're saying, and I think Heineke has definitely proven himself. I'm just like, I don't know, like I think enough has been seen for this Falcons squad at this point. Even I don't know if the quarterback chase is really going to change everything about them. Yep. And I think the Vikings, yes, losing Kirk Cousins is going to be a huge loss for them, but I think there's enough talent, especially their defense has been playing kind of sneaky good this year. It's been getting better over the course of the season. I think that they'll play well enough to keep the Vikings close in this game and maybe take the win. So I'll do the Chaos.
Yeah. Next up, I scrolled down way too far. Next up, Arizona Cardinals take on the Cleveland Browns. Watson apparently was practicing. Still hasn't been part of the team that much.
Sure.
Apparently been practicing.
Sure.
Cardinals, Kyler may be back, and that could put a spark in this offense. Browns defense still playing very well, however. Losing Donovan Peoples-Jones feels like an interesting move for the Browns, who could still compete for the division. Do you think that they will win this game?
Peoples-Jones definitely has not really been that involved with the offense this year. I don't know why. But based off of like the stats, especially, it just is like doesn't seem like they were really using him a lot, or if they were, it just wasn't working out. That said, I don't know. It would be nice to see the Cardinals beat the Browns. I'm gonna pick the Browns because I am not really that firm of a believer in that Clayton Tune is just gonna come in and like to knock off this team. I by all accounts I don't think Kyler Murray is playing this week, but I don't know, maybe
he's gonna try.
Yeah, even if he does though, man, this is a hard group to go to be your first matchup in a while.
Yeah.
But so I'm gonna go Browns.
Cool.
What about you?
I'm also gonna go Browns.
There you go.
Sorry, Remy is trying to climb on top of me. Because he thinks that it's bedtime.
Oh, silly.
And it usually is.
It usually is. Silly Remy. All right, we'll speed it up for Reminald. The Rams at the Packers. Rams lost big to the Cowboys. Packers lost badly to the Vikings. Both of these teams. Rams will be without Matthew Stafford, like you said, for a couple of weeks. What do you think's going to happen in this game?
This is the biggest crapshoot of the entire week. And there's a lot of crapshoots this week. I'm going to pick the Rams just out of principle and me not wanting to pick the Packers again. Like, there's no like math or science behind this.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to pick the Rams. It's a weird one, but I don't know what to think about this game at this point, especially with Stafford out. It's just kind of like, all right, well, I'm going to pick the Rams because they have Puka Nacua, who I like. So
yeah. All right. Well, Washington Commanders take on the New England Patriots. This is the other biggest crapshoot. I think Washington traded away a lot of their players, defensive players at least. The Patriots, man, they sure are a football team.
They're a football team.
They're a football team.
Indeed.
People pay money to go watch them.
Yeah.
Didn't do too well against the Dolphins, but still tend to play frisky. Do you think they can beat the Commanders?
Again, maybe it's the trades that's throwing me off, but I'm gonna pick the Patriots. I don't know why. I just like the Commanders. I just am like, what? Like I feel like you played so well against the Eagles, and you're gonna just kind of throw it all away now. It just felt like a weird decision to me. But. Whatever. I'm gonna go with the Patriots just because I could see them at home, just getting another victory. For McCorkle. Yeah.
I think
it's either it could go either way though.
It could. I think I will actually pick the Commanders.
Yeah. No. I think
again.
That's
yeah.
Fair. That's completely fair.
Not for defensive reasons, obviously, but. You know, Sam Howell's actually not been playing that poorly.
He hasn't.
So,
no, that
so
is,
I think that's a boon.
That is very good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
Next up.
I'm sorry, I'm really out of it right now.
No, it's fine. I'm sorry. I'll keep going. The Bears, Saints. Saints actually had I will say the Saints did have a pretty nice win against the Colts on Sunday, so that aspect is looking up for them. Now they go up against the Bears, who definitely did not show up on Sunday Night Football. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
I'm gonna pick the Saints. Like this is one that's like, okay, this is why, you know, the benefit for the NFC South is that they get to face the NFC North this year.
Yeah.
Which means they get to face the Bears and the Packers.
If Montez Sweat was going to play this game, I don't know if he would because it might be a quick turnaround. But if he was playing in this game, would you pick the Bears?
Still probably not because Fields I still don't think is playing.
Yeah.
And I think that the Saints are the type of team that will this would still just be it would be this either way, but they're gonna alternate between winning and losing games and never be more than one game ahead or behind 500. And I think this will put them ahead and be like, are the Saints gonna win the division? And then they get blown out by the fucking who they face next week. They're gonna give whatever the team this is you're here right now. They're gonna get blown out next week.
Yeah, there you go.
The Vikings, obviously.
Yes, obviously. I too am going to pick the Saints.
All right. Your first place Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, man.
But in front of the San Francisco 49ers. Take on the Baltimore Ravens. They just added a nice defensive piece. Taking on the Ravens, who didn't really do anything, but maybe could have. But Ravens have been on and off, mostly on, obviously being 6-2, but they do have these off games every once in a while. Do you think this will be one of their off games?
This is as much as we've just talked about like 3 kind of rough matchups in a row. There's some good games this week, and this one I'm very intrigued by and excited about. I'm going to pick the Ravens only because I feel like they do feel like the more complete team of the two. Feel like their defense is played out of their minds this year, and the Ravens offense is kind of starting to get on track. They didn't play amazing against the Cardinals, but they got it done. I'm picking the
Ravens. This is actually there weren't that many good chaoses, so I decided to chaos the Seahawks. I do think that the Ravens are one of the possible AFC Super Bowl teams, so this isn't like an indictment on the Ravens. I just think the Seahawks are frisky. And the Ravens do shit the bed.
They do.
And they do really shit the bed sometimes, and this could be a game where they absolutely shit the bed. And also, they've been talking about the before last week. They were talking about how Kansas City was so had been dominating Denver for so long. Now it's like, Lamar is 17-1 against NFC teams. So they keep jinxing things.
Yeah,
so this could be a jinx.
The jinx continues. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I definitely see it. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Houston Texans, 2 South teams facing each other. One with the quarterback of the future, and one CJ Stroud. I'm just kidding. What do you think is gonna happen?
I'm actually gonna say that the Texans had a rough game against the Panthers, but I think that they could rebound here, and I'll give it to them.
I concur. I'm taking the Texans. I'm not gonna let one bad game harm my image of this Texans team, but I think has been kind of fun to watch.
Indianapolis Colts take on the Carolina Panthers. Carolina coming off their first win. Indianapolis, trying to kind of just tread water right now. What do you think is gonna happen?
I'm dumb. I'm picking the Panthers though.
I think I'll actually split and pick the Colts. I want to see more from the Panthers before I start picking them more.
Yeah,
more seriously.
That's fair. It's I'm just gonna ride the wave of Thomas Brown at offense coordinator. See what happens.
Play caller,
yeah. New York Giants versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Man, there's the highs and fucking peaks and valleys of this fucking week.
Jesus Christ. Well, I know one game during the afternoon slot every person on the planet's going to be watching. It's not this one.
Yeah, it's definitely not. The Giants are what a football team they are, and same thing with the Raiders. What do you think's going to happen?
I'm gonna follow your just fire the head coach philosophy.
Yes, yes, join me. I'm also picking the Raiders. But the fired head coach always somehow the interim head coach after a head coach gets fired always somehow gets their win. It's not always, but it's more often than you would think.
Yeah. Plus, it's the Giants. Come on.
Yeah, this is the perfect week. They actually chose probably a very good week to clean house.
Yep.
If we're being honest.
If the Raiders win by 40 points, no, let's be more realistic. If they win by 21 points, I'll find a PF Chains and go to a PF Chains.
All right, treat yourself.
Never been to PF Chains. I've had PF Chains frozen food, like a frozen preparation, but I've never been to physical.
I think I have. I feel like every single time I think I have been to somewhere though, I tell Kelsey, and Kelsey's just like, no, that was a completely different restaurant. It's like, okay. So. No,
Chris, that was Taco Bell.
Right? Yeah.
Not PF Chains.
Yeah. No. In my mind, that would happen.
All right, Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, the actually exciting game.
Yes.
This round. Eagles, only one loss on this season, staying strong. Versus the Cowboys, who, they talk about your ups and downs. They have moments of brilliance where they look unstoppable, and then other games where they look incredibly stoppable.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is going to come out on top here?
I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I mean, the frisky pick would have been to go Cowboys here, but
the Cowboys, yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like the Cowboys, if the Cowboys lost to the Rams, I'd be more likely to pick them this week. That's how my brain works with this fucking league.
You're so funny.
Because that's how that would be my logic. It's just like, well, they lost last week to the Rams. No one's expecting it. They're gonna beat the Eagles. But now after they looked like one of the better teams in the league last week, it's like, well, now they're gonna against the Eagles.
They're gonna face one of the best teams and shit themselves.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm picking.
So
Eagles.
I saw this argument. I think this year is the most likely year that we've had since Adrian Peterson where a quarterback will not win MVP.
It's up there. It's getting there.
It's up there. I think that there are four options. There's two quarterbacks in Tua and Jalen Hurts.
Sure.
I think Christian McCaffrey.
Yep, it's up there.
And I think AJ Brown is the fourth.
Yeah.
125 plus yards in so many straight games. He is electric. And I think he'll continue that streak in this game.
I will say too, sneaky. I mean, definitely he should be the favorite. I think at this point for defensive player of the year, but sneaky.
Offensive, you mean?
No. I'm talking about something different.
Oh, you didn't. You were gonna finish your sentence, and I interrupted you.
It's okay. It's okay. Because I was just, but I think if he carries that team to a like let's say a division title, maybe Myles Garrett could be in that conversation.
I see it.
Because he's been playing insane. He's been playing very well.
Yep.
All right. Did you pick the Eagles?
I picked the Eagles. Yeah.
Okay. Buffalo Bills at the Cincinnati Bengals. Your Sunday Night Football game. Finally, a good Sunday Night Football game. They're subjecting us. They did Bears Chargers. They're giving us a treat this week with Bills Bengals, but they refuse to flex out Jets Raiders next week for Sunday Night Football.
Yeah,
which is baffling, especially given
what's the game they could have flexed in?
I don't know.
Bears Panthers. No, it's on Thursday.
Yeah, but
looking at the game, 49ers Jaguars, Browns Ravens.
Yeah.
Chargers, Lions.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff.
There's a lot of good stuff
that they could have done. Anyways, Bills and Bengals. I mean, both teams are looking to get back on track after difficult starts to the year. Bengals have been doing that. They've been very consistently winning. As of late, the Bills had their first win after a rough skid that did have a Giants victory in the middle of it, but it all felt very messy. What do you think's going to happen in this one?
I think that without hesitation, I think the Bengals are back. I think the Bengals are just one of those teams that's just going to suck shit at the start of the year, and part of that's because of Burrow's injury, but then they figure it out. They have fucking figured it out. I think the Bengals.
I am guaranteeing the Bengals.
Very nice choice.
On top of that. I as much as I would love, I love the Bills. I want the Bills to succeed.
Me too.
But I think the Bengals. This is a tough time to face the Bengals because I think they are about to go on a run, and
Yep.
and this is
obviously a lot of the coverage for this game too is going to be about DeMar Hamlin and what happened last year, especially since this game is in Cincy.
Yep, it's gonna be wild.
Yeah, should be fun.
I'm looking forward to
fine, not fun. Monday night, Los Angeles Chargers, New York Jets. Chargers did come off a victory against the Bears, saving Staley for one more week. Will Staley continue to keep his job somehow, or will the Jets find a way to win by only scoring 13 points?
It's a sneaky, interesting game.
It is a little bit.
Because when you look at it, you're like, oh, fuck. But, I don't know. The Jets are interesting. As much as we really hate watching Zach Wilson, it is a team that has a very good defense that, has found ways to win in these kind of situations. The Chargers, I want to have faith in. I want to believe that this team can actually do something considering who they have at quarterback. But I just feel like time and time again, Brandon Staley has just proven himself to just suck. So I'm picking the Jets in this one.
Well, we got a mini fuck up because I'm going to guarantee the Chargers.
Okay, I like it.
I still trust Herbert and the offense in general, and they always seem to put things together most of the time.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. This is a weird one. I didn't like a lot of the guarantees.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I wanted to mix things up a little bit. So, actually, the reason is most of the guarantees that I maybe would have done are teams that I've guaranteed before, and I just wanted to mix it up. And that's I do fair. Think that the ultimate Chargers move would be to keep winning just enough games to keep him as your head coach.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's an interesting way of looking at it for sure. Yeah, we'll see. I think this is definitely a winnable game for the Chargers. They should win this game. If they don't win this game, it's going to be a problem for them.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's 7 disagreements. That's a lot of disagreements for this week. And that is half the games this week. Half the games
it is.
We disagreed on for this week.
Look at us go.
That is nuts. Worth noting, just because I have a home and away type situation, I have a hang up about that. But I picked 6 games. 6 of those games are the home team, and you pick 6 away teams.
We'll see what happens.
The only difference was if I picked the road team with the Vikings-Falcons matchup, but that was about it.
I think that what this means is that we shouldn't record podcasts at 9 p.m.
because we have 7 disagreements. Hey, yeah. It's good podcast content, damn it. We're content creators. I hate that word.
I hate that. No, shut the fuck up. Shut your mouth.
Here's the thing. I feel like I don't know how to describe what I do other than content create, but it's because of how that verbiage has been used that it makes me want to just absolutely chop off my head. It just
for you out there who wants to do things, don't feel like you have to be a machine churning stuff out. Be like my fucking dog who might tear the fucking cable out of my computer.
Okay, all right. Well, we're gonna get you out of there. You're gonna get you to safety.
Remy wants bedtime.
We're landing this plane. All right. Well, folks, thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed a sleepy edition of the show. I hopefully I'll be much more into my job, and we'll be back on Tuesday with a lot more energy.
We'll be fine.
We'll maybe record a little earlier. And we'll be all good. It'll be our mid-season special, so tune in for that. We're gonna be redoing a lot of our predictions from the beginning of this year, so that should be a good time. But until then, folks, thank you again for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Good night. Sleep well, and good ball.